Like you're about to do a little twerk, and you're like, no, this is not right. Let's just mind our manners. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Fat Boy Diaries. I'm Gran, your resident fat boy, and today I thought I'd let you guys in on a little secret. I don't know what I'm doing. I know, shocker, right? Today I thought I would talk to you guys about manners. What dude, I'm 12. My mom taught me manners. Well, people in New York and other places in the world need to relearn what manners means. Because to me, manners is trying to at least prevent you from touching somebody else accidentally, especially in New York City, because some things are just so awkward. You're just like, dude, I did not mean for my hand to go like accidentally graze, and you're just like, God, where do I put my hands? I have no pockets, so you're just trying to like tuck them underneath your arms because you're accidentally grazing things, and you're just looking around and you're feeling a little small because everyone's looking at you. And then sometimes people are like putting their bags like on their backs, and then you're like going like this, like you're about to do a little twerk, and you're like, no, this is not right. Let's just mind our manners. Excuse me. If you're on the subway and you have a backpack on, do the kind thing. Take it off and put it by your legs. What that does is it makes it so people can stand straight. They can stand straight and they know where you start and where you end, so that way they can avoid stuff. In the street in New York, if you are walking, make sure you always stay on the right-hand side of the street. This is my right hand. It looks like my left because everything on camera is flipped. But you gotta walk on the right-hand side of the street. You wanna know why you do this? It's so people can walk fast and get past you without blocking the entire road, so everyone's pushing and shoving and pushing and shoving. Because that just leads to a whole bunch of violence that you do not need in your life. That's all I gotta say. One thing I suggest is you gotta give them the little shoulder, the little shoulder. Because what this does, it becomes like a rhino horn, and you can just push past people like this. And that way, when you're pushing past them, you know for a fact that you were in the right, because your shoulder is preventing them from touching all of this. Trust me, all of this doesn't get up against all of whoever you're brushing past, because you just push and then you shove in like a door, and then you never look back, because then people are giving you nasty looks like, oh, I'm coming after you. And that is not fun. That's all I gotta say. New York is a crowded place. You gotta be able to walk fast, be able to look around you, and be able to, sometimes you have no choice, especially in Times Square, to be really close to people. And if you need to be somewhere quick, like get to work on time, you just gotta make sure that you're doing everything in your power to get to work on time, while also making sure that you're not doing like inappropriate touching, because sometimes it has happened to me where people just rub up against you and you're like, what did that just happen? And you look around them and the person who did it just disappeared. They didn't even stop. So it wasn't like intentional, but it's still inappropriate touching, and it did not feel good. It does not feel good, because if it did, it still wouldn't feel good. For all those parents out there, your children are about, waist high. And on a man, that's dangerous, because most New Yorkers, they move fast in the street, and their children are like getting dragged along, like those movies where like there's a dog on a leash and he's really stronger than the owner, and the dog's just running away, and the owner's like being dragged along, like hitting everything on the sidewalk because they can't control their dog. Parents are the dog, and the children are the person being dragged along, not knowing what they're doing, but because their parents are not paying attention to them, they're getting flung against trash bins. They're getting they're tripping over their feet. They're hitting people in places they should not be hit, because it's not their fault, it's the parents' fault, because they're just trying to get somewhere really fast. And they're like, I don't know what's happening, Mom. Why are we moving so fast? I don't know why. That's just my thing. You just be aware of your children, and just make sure, just teach them the shoulder, because then they can move fast with you while also making sure that they're not in someone else's business. That's my only thing, because it's happened to me many a times, and I feel like no one's addressed it. It's children, and it's just an awkward thing to address. It's just an awkward thing to address. I'm gonna leave it there. This is my last thing I'm talking about when it comes to manners. If you are in a public venue and you are about to enjoy either a dinner or a movie or a theater ticket, think about how much work into making sure that you could be there, because some people forget that a lot of people spend a lot of money to go to things like the theater, to see like Broadway shows like Hamilton is $600 a ticket. So when people get on their phone and they're like Instagram and they're chatting on their phone, how rude is that? Spend $600 to get into this thing. If you're getting distracted and getting taken out of the show because of the fact that someone's phone is on, rude, and don't do that, because what you're not realizing is you may also have spent that $600, but if all these people spend all this money on this thing and you're taking away from that show, that's a lot of money that's being wasted down the toilet, because you can't actually enjoy the show that you paid to see. Which brings me back to movies. If you go to a movie, especially in New York where tickets are $20 a ticket, at night, do everyone a courtesy. If your phone rings, leave the theater. If your child starts crying, leave the theater. If you're texting and it's a conversation you cannot just hang up on, leave the theater, because what you people don't understand is it is very hard to stay concentrated when people are having a little back chat behind you. Dude, this is in your living room. What are you doing? I didn't pay $20 to hear you talk about some random thing about chickens and bullfighting behind me. I wanted to watch a movie in front of me and I didn't want to have to be aware of you at all. That's why I go to movies, because I want to watch the art that's being created. And lately it's been really hard to do that. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you want, you can turn on the little alert button, which looks like a little bell, so you can be aware when I upload my next video, which you want to do, because my next video is going to be a reenactment of a scenario that happened to me last time I went to the movie theater, which is funny because I wrote the scenario based on other experiences, and then literally after I finished writing it, it happened. So please, tune in on Friday and you will enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and have a great night. Remember, it's okay to be fat, because fat is awesome. I'm just trying out ends.